What's going on YouTube? Josh here checking in. I know it's been a hell long time since I posted a video, and I got two excuses. One, I've been super busy with medical school. I just started my 4th year and things are getting kind of crazy. And numero dos, I actually hurt my back a bit. So I figured this would actually be a perfect opportunity for me to talk about dealing with injuries in your training, right? The reality is that it's pretty much inevitable that you're going to have some kind of tweak, some strains along the way. If you actually look at the data, compared to other athletic endeavors, lifting weights is actually relatively safe. I can link below some articles that go into that, but suffice it to say that it's relatively safe. You're not likely to gravely injure yourself lifting weights. But anybody who's been lifting weights for any amount of time knows that invariably you're going to have aches and pains, you're going to have little minor injuries that's going to take some recovering from. And the question is, you know, when you're working out and you're feeling something uncomfortable, some pain, is this something that you need to be concerned about? Are you risking injury? Are you going to F yourself up? Are you going to end up in a wheelchair? Or is this really no big deal? So I just need to say this off the bat. One, I'm not a doctor yet. And even when I am a doctor, anything on YouTube is not medical advice. If you really think you hurt yourself, you F yourself up, please, please, please go see a doctor. If it's really bad, if it's like an emergency, some crazy stuff is happening, go to the ER, okay? That's off the bat. So now we've got the disclaimer out of the way. The question is, how do you know if you F'd yourself up? Now, ultimately, this is gonna be on an individual basis, right? Now, you need to have some threshold for, okay, I can train through this, I can deal with this, versus, oh, this is really bad. So a good rule of thumb is, you know, if you're working out, let's say you're doing squats, and all of a sudden, you know, your back starts kind of feeling a little tight. Okay, maybe you try and roll it out a little bit, you do some mobility, and before you go to squat, a good thing to attempt is to do some air squats, just to see how your body feels. Now, if you do air squats and you have excruciating pain in your back, I would not advise you to step under the bar and put 500 pounds on the back, because surely you're going to crumble under the weight and really F yourself up. That's kind of common sense, but you know, you see enough crazy stuff out there where I just need to say that. Now, that's a good rule of thumb in general. If you're working out and you can't do the body weight variation of whatever you're doing without any kind of substantial pain, you should probably call it there or really modify your workout. For example, a few days ago I was working out, I was doing some squats, and this back pain that I was dealing with, it was just a little tweak. Basically, I flared it up again. I was in the middle of squats, I was just sitting down on the rack, I got up and my back just started to tighten up real bad. I did some air squats, didn't feel so hot. I was like, you know what? I'm calling it right there. I just did some leg extension, some bodybuilding work, and called it a day. Now, the reality is that most pain, specifically stuff like lower back pain, stuff like that, will go away over, you know, the course of a few weeks or so. There's some injuries that are overuse injuries, like tendonitis and stuff like that, which ultimately are things that you're kind of just gonna have to suck up. You're gonna have to see if there's something with your form that's causing that. But the reality is that most people who've been training for any amount of time and who lift, you know, hard are gonna have these kinds of nagging pains, right? So the question is this something that is uncomfortable? You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, is this, say, like below a 3 or a 4? Is this something that's starting to get kind of painful, like, you know, 4 or 5, where you're gonna think about maybe taking some painkillers? Or is it something like off the scale where you're like in excruciating pain? Now, I've seen people do a bunch of stuff from, you know, they feel any ounce of pain and they're like, oh, I can't train, I'm all messed up, to seeing guys with, you know, severe pain taking Vicodin and all this stuff so that way they can get into the gym. Now, what should you do about this? Of course, if you're an athlete, you're going to want to get in the gym, you're going to want to train. If you've got some minor pain, you know, a small ache, something that feels a little tight, if it's something that's related to mobility, you can of course try and do some mobility work and stuff like that. You know, I will say there are some like topical pain relievers like Icy Hot, and there's a bunch of other stuff that can help you get through a hump, you know, basically help you as you're sort of recovering. I wouldn't use this on a frequent basis. If you're dealing with some kind of pain and, you know, maybe it's a 3 or 4 out of 10, you put some of this Icy Hot stuff or some kind of similar product on, and it allows you to train for a week or two, and then you don't have to use it anymore, that's fine. But if you're using painkillers, be it topical or otherwise, to train for anything more than a week or two, you're probably, doing more harm than good. And I have to say, from personal experience, I've done that myself. Basically, a little over a year ago, after I tore my sartorius muscle, I was doing just that. I was really pumped about doing well in my next meet, and then I basically ended up making my course of recovery a lot longer. So don't be an idiot like me, and don't do that. So, I know this is kind of all over the place, but I just kind of wanted to go off the cuff, nothing planned, and just talk about dealing with minor injuries and pain when you're training. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. Again, I can't give any medical advice over the internet, but definitely feel free to comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are on this topic. What are some things that you've done that have worked? What do you use as your personal gauge to know, okay, I need to cut it here, or I need to modify my training or something like that? So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you're not subscribing, hit that subscribe button. If you're not following me on social media, what are you doing, man? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, The Strength Doc. And while you're at it, check out thestrengthdoc.com. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Somebody should have told you I'm on one. Yeah, fuck it, I'm on one. Yeah, I said I'm on one. Fuck it, I'm on one. But somebody should have told you I'm on one.